Hey everybody, this is my 40-gallon brackish tank, and tonight we're going to do a simple before and after water change video. The tank is not as horribly filthy as it looks, it's just the front glass. I think a lot of the reason I have so much algal growth on the front glass is because of the LED I have on there. It's a planted tank LED, one that's designed to be on a planted tank, and it's got the additional red and blue lighting on it. And I think it just supercharges the algal growth because I have it on the front panel, and of course it's shining, most prominently across the front glass. And ever since I put it on this tank, within days of cleaning the glass off, it's just starting to grow back. So you can see all that. Most of that's diatom algae. It's that brown stuff. It wipes off very easily. It's not a big deal, but it is very unsightly. So in addition to that, wiping all that down, I do have to do the canister filter. I realized the other day I've not actually changed the canister filter on this tank since I set this tank up. Now it is on one of those stands that has a little rack on the bottom, so the filter is on that, and it's going to be kind of a tight squeeze of getting the hoses disconnected and sort of wiggling it out of there without banging it around and making too much noise. I don't like startling Butterbean too much. He's a very skittish little fish, and he gets stressed out really easily. And of course I pamper and baby him, more than you would think any sane person would do for a fish. But I do, and I don't want to bang that around too much. So I'm not going to make a big deal out of the video. I'm just going to do a before and after. And then in the after segment of the video, we're going to do a nice little feeding video and get to watch him munching on some snails and everything, and we'll get some good close-ups of that. So sit tight and consider this part your before. Alright everybody, there's your after. So Butterbean's still fussing around. He was climbing up and down the glass in the back of the tank, and now it looks like he's going to go back there and hide. So I did a simple 10-gallon water change as I did last time. That's pretty much the routine now. I do 2 5-gallon buckets. I keep the buckets filled as a reservoir of sorts. And I did clean out the filter. It really was not nearly as dirty as I was expecting. I honestly didn't need to really do much to it at all, but since I'd already broken it down and taken it apart, I went ahead and stripped everything out and put new filter material in. I added some additional biomaterial, some bio balls. I didn't have very much in there. I guess when I put the filter together, I didn't have a lot in stock, so to speak, so I didn't put much in there. I do have a bunch now, so I filled up one of the trays with bio balls, so there is better biofiltration now as those bacterial colonies increase. So I'm going to go ahead and collect up a few snails. Hopefully Butterbean will settle down a little more. Now that I got the planaria out of my snail tank, it's absolutely overrun with snails, and now when I feed Butterbean, instead of throwing a few small snails in the tank, I can usually just pick 4 or 5 pretty good sized ones out, drop them in there. He usually sees me do it, so he'll come over and hopefully we'll get some good video of him munching away. Yeah, I'm pretty sure he saw that. So hang on a minute while I try to get the camera off of the tripod. And he's definitely not used to seeing this camera. This is not my phone, this is my actual camcorder. And he's usually suspicious of my phone. I don't know why. All the years I've been using that same camera, you think he'd be used to it by now. I wonder why those 2 mollies are dancing around so close to him. I didn't put any food in the tank for them. Just the snails there that you see. Maybe the addition of the new water has them all excited, but why they're dancing around up front like that and just kind of right next to him, no matter what he does, they won't seem to go away. There they go. I have seen a few of the shrimp. In fact, there's one right there crawling into camera on the rock on the left. Butterbean just zoomed on past it. So let me see if I can operate the zoom holding the camera this way. It's tough to hold with the tripod mount still in place. You make short work of those snails. Now I think the ones I picked up today are the ram's horn snails. I don't think I got any of the regular old pond snails. And I'm very unhappy to say that while I was in there, I'd suspected it was growing back, but it was kind of hard to tell. The glass was so nasty and filthy. The glass cleaned up easy enough, as I said it would, as I suspected it would. But once I got in there, I found sheets of that red cyanobacteria growing all over the gravel, and it was all over the front portion of the tank. I didn't see it growing anywhere in the back or anywhere else. It's all pretty much just directly under the light. So I can't remember the brand and the name of the light. I want to say it's a Finex Stingray, but I'm not 100% positive on that. I think that's what it is, though. At any rate, it's one of those middle-of-the-road LEDs for a planted tank. And, you know, a lot of times, unless you're really willing to spend the money, you know, you can really go wrong with an LED, especially a budget brand LED. As far as putting it on your tank, the wavelengths of light that it puts on your tank are not necessarily conducive to good vigorous plant growth without the addition of good vigorous algal growth, or in this case the red cyanobacteria. Now I've also come to believe that that red cyanobacteria is the saltwater version of algae. The cyanobacteria is more or less ubiquitous. It's just everywhere. It's been around literally since the dawn of time. And I think just like algae, if the conditions are favorable, you'll get algal growth. If you set a glass of water out, you'll get green growth in it eventually because it's just favorable conditions, and algae is just in the air. So I think this is the same situation. It's favorable conditions for the cyanobacteria to grow. And since we are down here in my basement, you know, the chances of something like a cyanobacteria being present in the air, you know, maybe some musty walls or whatever, I just think that as long as I've got a brackish environment down here with, you know, good lighting and stuff, I'm just going to have that cyanobacteria coming back. So probably not too long from now, I'm going to hit this tank up again with the ChemiClean. That stuff seems to work wonders. Whether the cyanobacteria comes back or not, I can't hold the ChemiClean responsible for that. If I've got, you know, an environment where I keep introducing cyanobacteria to it, of course it's going to keep coming back. That doesn't mean that the product's not killing it off and it's not working. The product, in my opinion, seems to work fantastic. And again, I'll put a link down below in the description if you're interested in the ChemiClean. It just works great in brackish or freshwater, and I assume it would work just as well in a saltwater environment. If I remember correctly, way back in the day when I had my marine tank, I used it and killed off the cyanobacteria that was in there. And no, I'm not really interested in doing another marine tank. It just really wasn't my thing. So he's kind of done with the snails. It seems like he's just sort of cruising the tank, looking around. So I guess we're going to call that today's daily dose of the Butterbean there. And I'm going to say thanks for watching, and make sure you're subscribed. That way you won't miss anything I got coming up. Never know what it's going to be with me. Don't forget, this one here is my brackish tank. Thanks again for watching. Hope you enjoyed, and I'll see you real soon on the next one.